$4.003. That is the national average for a single gallon of gas today. It's wild, right? We're looking at a massive 30% spike just since February. It's this perfect, if painful, illustration of how really distant global events are reaching right into your pocket. Welcome to today's Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a fascinating and, honestly, super urgent theme that connects almost everything we're experiencing right now. We're calling it the collision arc. We're going to see exactly how these massive geopolitical crises, explosive tech booms, and harsh physical limits are all just slamming into each other at once, creating all this friction in our daily lives. Okay, let's dive right into part one, geopolitics hits your wallet. So since the wider conflict kicked off back in February, things have seriously escalated. Today actually marks the 9th day of ongoing U.S. strikes against Iran. And the human toll here is heavy. We're talking 17 American service members killed and over 400 wounded. Right now, there's a fragile 10-day ceasefire being proposed, but, well, it hasn't halted operations just yet. Now, this conflict is spreading through something called redundant disruption. Basically, Yemen's Houthi forces just announced a naval blockade that targets Saudi Arabia's alternate trade routes. It's like a chain reaction. When one major safe route becomes unsafe, the backup route suddenly becomes the target too. To put that into perspective, that means 2.5 million barrels per day of Saudi exports using these Red Sea routes are now at much greater risk. These were the exact same routes Saudi Arabia used to divert crude away from the Strait of Hormuz. When you compound all of that maritime disruption, you can draw a straight line directly back to that $4 gas price we saw at the start. Which brings us to part two, the AI capability crunch. Why does this matter to the AI boom? Let's look. Moonshot AI recently had to pause new subscriptions for its cutting-edge Kimi K3 model. Get this, just 48 hours after it launched, the demand was so overwhelming, it literally pushed their computing capacity to its absolute limit. It turns out, building a super popular AI is very different from having the physical infrastructure to actually run it. Because the sheer scale of these models is staggering. Moonshot AI is reportedly seeking a $30 billion valuation, and Alibaba is out here previewing a model with 2.4 trillion parameters. 2.4 trillion. But the core bottleneck here? It's what we call agentic workloads. These aren't just your simple chatbots. They require long, repeated reasoning cycles that just burn through compute capacity almost instantly. Now, what's really interesting about this data is the pushback. 142 data center protests across 42 states. U.S. AI developers aren't just dealing with microchip shortages anymore. They're hitting a massive physical wall of local public resistance over land, water, and massive electricity consumption. It's literally turning into an infrastructure competition. These massive AI facilities are now competing against ordinary household bills for the exact same constrained power grids. It's gotten so intense that the White House is actively pushing for voluntary pledges from utilities and developers just to try and ensure this explosive data center growth doesn't end up jacking up electricity bills for the rest of us. And that leads right into part three, a world under strain. We're seeing these physical emergencies overlap constantly now. Like we have ongoing Texas flood recovery happening at the exact same time as active Western fires, all while residual Canadian smoke lingers over the Great Lakes. 17,000 emergency personnel are currently deployed to American wildfires alone. It is stretching our response capabilities to their absolute limits. All of this creates what experts call accumulated strain. It's the really harsh reality that all these smaller, simultaneous pressures, from bad air, extreme heat, expensive fuel, and disrupted grids, they all combine into serious health consequences. Even that $4 gas we talked about, it creates a health burden, making things like medical visits, cooling, and just running basic errands so much harder for vulnerable households. So this leaves us facing a massive response gap. Thanks to incredible satellites and scientific tech, we know what's happening faster than ever before. But do we actually have the physical infrastructure to withstand it? It's crazy to think about. Our societies possess amazing technological awareness, yet our baseline systems remain incredibly fragile. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer today. I really hope it leaves you eager to dig deeper into these invisible forces that are shaping our world.